Up next, I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Krithi Karanth, who is a leading wildlife conservation scientist and National Geographic explorer. Krithi is going to share her insights on navigating human-wildlife coexistence, which is such a key factor in ensuring a sustainable future for all. Krithi, please come on.
Hi, thank you. I'm just going to share some slides. Please let me know if you can see them. Yeah?
Yes, we can see them.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. So it's been a fascinating morning because we've kind of gone from water to recycling, to climate, to energy. And I feel like the last piece of the puzzle is the non-humans we share the planet with. And that has been kind of my focus over the last 25 years, working both as a scientist, conservationist, and educator in India, looking at how can we build better coexistence between people and wildlife. And I actually got a jump start on this, got taken to the jungle by the time I was a year old, spent the first 17 years of my childhood watching animals in India, and really appreciating the extraordinary diversity of wildlife we have, learning to set up camera traps, tracking tigers, watching elephants, and the other piece of realizing that although we have very high population densities, we have extraordinary tolerance for wildlife in this country, which is why it persists today compared to a lot of other Asian and African countries. Today, I serve as the CEO of Center for Wildlife Studies, which is a 40-year-old conservation organization based in Bangalore, but we work all over India. And it's fascinating, right? Because I started my journey very much as a biologist, geographer, and over the last 25 years, it's kind of evolved to look at education, at health, at carbon, and kind of trying to make all of this work together in the context of saving India's wildlife. And I wanted to share a series of projects and programs that we've launched that are scaling across India as examples of how all of this has come together. So as with most wildlife biologists, you start with a passion for a particular place or a particular animal. And we as an organization have worked on a variety of taxa, from mammals to birds to amphibians to insects. Today, we have a very intensive elephant program in southern India that's looking specifically at elephants because if you look at it from a human-wildlife coexistence perspective, conflict and human injuries and death by elephants is higher than most other species. We also have pioneering work that we've done on tigers for a very long time that we're continuing in the Eastern Ghats. But what has really shifted is, I think, in the last 40 years, the understanding that first we need to know where these animals are, the second piece on where they cause conflict, and then how do you address conflict. So in that sense, the arc of evolution for us as an organization has been going from just looking at animals in isolation to animals and people, and a range of issues that go from conflict to connectivity for wildlife to opportunities from tourism and wildlife trade and hunting and the threats that imposes. So I'm going to kind of just specifically focus on the human-wildlife conflict piece, given the time we have today. But if you look at India, we've done over 20 years of research on looking at human-wildlife conflict, and we are the most conflicted country in the sense that people are losing crops, losing livestock, being killed and being injured by large animals like tigers and elephants, and leopards and bears. And so if we are sort of serious about saving megafauna, these solutions have to evolve to kind of have communities supported during these situations, and what else can you do to build tolerance and support for wildlife, right? So very quickly, in the last 9 years, we've launched 5 conservation programs that kind of transit this arc of from immediate response all the way to building long-term support and sustainability for both wildlife and wild places. So the first program we started was very simple. If you had a conflict issue with an animal, you would call a toll-free number, and our team would arrive at this scene and help you file the claim. Why is this important? When you are a smallholder farmer living on the edges of most of these parks, and living on an income of about $1,000 a day, a herd of elephants come and wipe your crop out, you're not able to feed your family for the next 6 months. And repeated incidents lead to a lot of anxiety, anger, mob situations being created, the forest department staff being beaten up, and even the animals being electrocuted or poisoned. So we started this program around 2 parks, and for the longest time, we kind of tried to have it work efficiently. We cut the claims processing time. As a nonprofit, we have not dispensed the funding to compensate people. All of the funding has come originally from the Karnataka government, and now we are in Kerala and Tamil Nadu as well. What it does is gives people a sense of that you're not there just for the animal, you're actually helping them rebuild their lives and figure out solutions to make a living, right? So we started this in Nagarhole and Bandipur in Karnataka. But now we've very rapidly in the last 2 years scaled it to multiple parks. I think this is an innovative solution because all it involves is somebody having a mobile phone and having the ability to call. And I think what has really set us apart is the fact that people have called us and we've filed over 25,000 claims today. As we started to do the Wild Survey program, we realized very quickly that children living on the edges of these parks live in abject fear of these animals or have no wonder and awe and amazement at the fact that they can see tigers and see elephants and see all the other extraordinary wildlife we have in India. So we launched a conservation education program that celebrates Indian wildlife, gets our kids to know what a gaur is, what a lion-tailed macaque is. Most of them know what a zebra and giraffe is, but don't know our own wildlife. And this program has been, I think, very interesting because we've used experiential learning. We've built our own curriculum that's not based on Western philosophies of education. And this has been in partnership with National Geographic. And over the last 5 years, we've built content that is now available in Hindi, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, and pretty much all the South Indian languages and Hindi. And what we understand is that you have to create this local connection to the animals these kids are seeing in their backyard. And then the ownership and the stewardship will naturally happen. We do this through a lot of fun and engaging activities. It is not boring classroom presentations. It's a lot of games, a lot of storytelling, a lot of art, a lot of creativity, which kind of really inspires the program. And except during the pandemic, the program has been very, very active, and we're about to close in on our 1,000th school. And I'm kind of hoping to take this program to 5,000 schools in the next few years. And this is spanning both the Eastern and Western Ghats today. The third piece that came in actually during COVID was that as our teams were locked up, we couldn't go out and do the research and conservation programs like Chalet. We realized that we had a unique opportunity. We were sitting in the most remote parts of India. We had access to healthcare workers, forest department staff who were trying to understand COVID, but 6 other wildlife diseases that were present in this part of India. So we launched a health program that really went out and worked with frontline health staff, ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, to really look at the 7 most common wildlife diseases. How do they transmit from people to wildlife, and how do we prevent this, and taking it beyond COVID, right? It was extraordinary. While most of us sat locked up in our houses, my team went across the entire Western Ghats. We did about 1,000 of these community outreach workshops and really built a sense of, if you're seeing conflict or disease in your village, in your neighborhood, you can reach out to us and we can help build long-term solutions for viability and addressing these issues, right? What we plan to do now is take the program specifically to all of the forest departments. And we realize that a lot of frontline staff just have no basic knowledge on how to deal with conflict and disease. And this is kind of what we're hoping to work on this year. But I think it's an interesting program because it was the first one that literally went from, not just working in one village to really working in thousands of villages across this extraordinary landscape. And the last piece, which is why I think I was invited to speak today, was I have been very skeptical about a lot of the carbon work that has happened. And I've been very hesitant about, linking the biodiversity and carbon piece, because I think a lot of it is not done meaningfully in a way that you're actually creating space for wildlife and leading to, carbon sequestration. But about a year and a half ago, we launched the, carbon program, which is interesting because we work with smallholder farmers. They have very high human wildlife conflict. They're unable to make a living off their land because of the conflict. They've tried all kinds of fencing, solar fences, ditches, electric fences. None of this works, and then unable to, have a livelihood. So what we're doing now is partnering with 10,000 farms and to really voluntarily set aside pieces of their farmland, stop growing agricultural crops that attract animals, switch to more stable agroforestry. This is in very, very early stages, but I think it is a core solution where you're looking at wildlife, you're looking at livelihoods, you're looking at creating habitats, and the final piece is actually once these trees are up and standing, you will have carbon sequestration. Unlike a lot of other tree planting projects, which, where somebody gives a sapling and walks away, we do very intense monitoring. We're drone monitoring every single farm. We're going in and replacing saplings and really looking at why do tree planting projects work and why they fail. And I think the insights from this will really give us ability to take this to many, many other parts of India. And I don't do any of this work alone. We have an extraordinary team for each program, and it's all people hired locally. They don't come from big cities. They're very much from the villages here, and in some sense become very strong local stewards of both the animals, the people, and these places, right? So, in terms of what our lens today is, it's very much a landscape level, place-based approach. And it's not about working in individual parks and individual villages. It's really connecting this extraordinary part of India. If you look at wildlife, it's the Northeast, it's central India, it's the Himalayas, and southern India, where we hold most of our wildlife today. And so I think, by working through a multitude of solutions, we're actually developing ways where communities can coexist with wildlife by taking care of their needs. It's been extraordinary. All of this is done by local people who we train, and I think this is a testament to the kind of long-term roots we're building in each of these places. We partner with a whole bunch of foundations, organizations, universities for the research and conservation pieces, and I'm deeply grateful for their support on this. And I kind of want to close with the last piece, which is, as one conservation organization in a part of India, we are not going to get everywhere and solve all issues, right? So there are two initiatives we have right now. One is, a PhD program that will build the next cadre of wildlife scientists who work across India on a variety of habitats and species. And the other piece is now partnering with other conservation and science NGOs who we can empower through knowledge and share what we have learned, and them really take forward new projects and new ideas. So I just want to end with this. Thank you very much.
That was so inspirational. Thank you so very much, Krithi. We have sorry, one second. I think I have a question here. Okay, I have a question here which says, to you, Krithi, has the wildlife tiger population recovered over the last decade? What is the future looking like for them?
So I think if you look at the 1950s to 1970s, most of the wildlife, not just tigers, everything had been decimated, right? And we've really seen a recovery from the 1970s to today, but it's been a very mixed recovery. There are parks like Thana, Bandhavgarh, Nagarhole, which have recovered and are fully at capacity, right? But then there are other parks where they've been wiped out. So it is really a mixed success story, and the thing is to use the science to monitor these animals, come up with accurate estimates, and which is what there's a lot of sort of pushback against the government today, because a lot of this stuff is not coming through in an accurate manner. Sorry, I just saw a message that you didn't see my slides. I had like 20 slides that I went through.
No,
So.
We did see one of them.
Oh, okay, no, I had 20 slides. Sorry, I wish that somebody had let me know, because I would have just, I kind of zoomed through all these beautiful slides, which no one saw. Anyway,
Maybe
thanks.
we'll be able to have a look at it after this.
Yeah, sure.
But thank you very much, Krithi. And I'm hoping to see my first tiger too at some point of time. I'm very hopeful after having listened to you. So thank you for that.